Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my initial curriculum plans and picks for my upcoming 11th grader. In the upcoming weeks, I do plan to share more of my curriculum picks for my other children, my upcoming 3rd grader, upcoming 7th grader, and my youngest 2 as well. So let me know if you have like a vote for which one I do next, and I will do those as soon as I get a chance. Now, if you're new here, I have 5 children, ages 3, 4, 7, 11, and 15. And I shared a couple weeks ago my family subject picks for all of my family. We do a lot of family style learning. So there will not be a ton of new information in today's video, but if you are new, then some of it will be new to you. If you have been around here for a while, you kind of know my style. And also, you know that this is not typically what it looks like where I film, but we have been so busy and I had to take the moment and the location that I had to get this video out to you guys. Now, I want to stress that this is my initial curriculum picks. It's only May, and I do not stress about having everything completely decided and purchased and ready to go. Because like I mentioned in my family subjects video, we have multiple curriculums and resources that we're not even done with for this school year. Some of them will pause likely. I'll probably be sharing my summer homeschool plans in the next couple of weeks. If you guys are interested, I did have a bunch of people reach out on one of my previous videos saying you would be interested in knowing. But I do want to just stress that everything is subject to change, and I don't know necessarily what the Lord has in store for us next year. So I want to encourage you, as I have in previous videos, to always pray for the Lord to guide you in your curriculum choices. Every family, every child, every future is different for each family, and all of those things come into play. So as I talk to you guys about my plans for my son, I can tell you that his goal for a long time, and what he feels and what we agree is his calling, is to become a youth pastor. So I think it's important to think about, like, what are the things that would make sense for him to study and also not necessarily spend a lot of time studying to reach that goal and that calling that he has on his life for his next steps, for his plan. So these are all things that we have prayed over and talked about and continue to seek the Lord about, continue to research resources for, and this is where we've landed so far in this moment. We thought about dual enrollment for him next year and decided against it for a variety of reasons, and if you want me to share that in a future video, I would be happy to dive more into that. But I can tell you, it's not the path we've chosen for him for 11th grade for next year. If you've been around, you know that he is young for that grade level because where his birthday falls in the year, and we put him or started him in kindergarten when he was not quite 5 yet. So realistically, he could be a 10th grader next year. And so that is part of the reason, although there are more, why we decided against dual enrollment for him. We have definitely more of a Charlotte Mason approach to education, even in the high school years. It is eclectic. I would not say like we do everything to a T with Charlotte Mason. We also have a little bit of an unschooling vibe and just not traditional. So you will probably find other moms out there who have a more traditional plan for their high schooler. And if that's what you're looking for, then it's surely out there. So I do want to give this disclaimer that this is non-traditional and we are happy with that approach, but if it's not for you, that's okay. So let's get into it, what I have decided for next year. So I shared in my family subjects video that we would be covering ancient history through Middle Ages next year for our family history. I have chosen to continue with my 15, who will be 16 next school year, to stay with us for history, because I feel like we can easily study the same history and then give him more resources to dive deeper into that topic at an age appropriate level. So we have chosen Gather Round homeschool curriculum for, and this again is our tentative plan, to do ancient history from them, or it's ancient civilizations, and then Vikings, and then Middle Ages, and cover that time period in those 3 unit studies. I did not want to spend the whole year on ancient civilizations, and I shared in a previous video the other curriculums that I considered and why I didn't choose them. I still am considering the Precious People. As of my last video, I think I said I was like decided on the Precious People, but I'm waiting to see because we are still only a little more than halfway through Playful Pioneers, and I don't want to rush that. I'm probably not even going to start Ancient Civilizations until we have finished Playful Pioneers from the Peaceful Press. So I'm still on the fence about whether or not we will do the Precious People, but I can tell you that our plan is to do those 3 history cycles. We love family style learning, and they have high school level student notebooks just like the other age groups, and I plan to supplement, not that I even think that you have to, but I plan to do that with lots of rich literature. I think because of the time period in history and the biblical connections between the history, also adding in historical fiction like this book, The Bronze Bow, that I plan to either give him as an independent read or a read aloud. The read aloud thing, I believe in read alouds. I think it's wonderful, but I also know that sometimes I do more read alouds because I don't want to miss out on the books that they're reading, and I love reading them alongside them. So I have not decided. I know that we will use this when it aligns with the time period that we're in. I know we'll use this next year. I saw this on a lot of book lists for curriculums that cover that time period, and it looks amazing. So we will be reading this probably as a read aloud, even though I feel like this would be a great independent read for my 15-year-old. So I'll keep you posted. I do not have a ton of physical things to show you today because of the fact that some of these things are still not purchased. They're just planned. So lots of books for him, lots of studying that time period alongside the Bible, just fully reading through that time period in history from the Bible, and then continuing apologetics. If you remember, last year I shared kind of like our focus, or one of our main focuses for this school year was apologetics alongside discipleship, and those things will continue throughout next year. I will continue to pray over the summer and ask the Lord to give us really specific guidance, and I will likely share those things with you guys as the school year gets closer, but I know we will be continuing our study in apologetics, and so that will be a main focus for him, which aligns really well with his career path as far as we know at this point. It is important for him to know history. It is important for him to know the Bible. It is important for him to be well-versed in apologetics. So that is going to be the main focus truly for him next school year. Now for sciences, we are going to finally get around to chemistry. We are going to use the chemistry unit from The Good and the Beautiful, which I shared with you guys previously. We'll be doing that as a family. And then again, supplementing with any extra books that I feel he may need or want in that area. We will also be doing Intro to Psychology from Gather Round, which I also think will be incredible for someone whose goal is to become a youth pastor, especially because it approaches psychology from a biblical worldview. So we are planning on a lot of Gather Round next year, and I'm really excited to jump back in and do some of their newer units because it's been almost a year probably since we've done any of their family units. So I'm really excited about that. We also have health and nutrition and also a safety unit from The Good and the Beautiful, and we will likely have my 15-year-old join in on those things. We are also continuing to learn about natural medicine and homeopathic remedies and all of those things, herbs and foraging and growing our own food, not necessarily using curriculum for those things, but those will be skills that I continue to teach him throughout next year, as well as home management and car repairs and things like that that are really crucial, I feel like, for young men, young people in general, to know before they go off in the world on their own. So there will be lots of real life learning that takes place that's not necessarily guided by a curriculum. For math, we are going pretty non-traditional and have decided to not move past algebra and geometry in terms of like traditional math courses. We are going to have him do Dave Ramsey's personal finance course, which is for high school. We actually did this when he was in middle school with the middle school course, and I knew that I would want to circle back around and have him do the high school course as he got a little bit older. So we are going to do that this year, and we will likely look into another one of his courses, which is about entrepreneurship, because the only other thing that he's really expressed interest in is being an entrepreneur, and we don't know if maybe God has sort of both of those things for him that will kind of go hand in hand as he approaches adulthood. So we will likely get to the entrepreneurship unit, and if we don't, then he'll likely do that his senior year. So alongside of the history and the Bible and the apologetics that we plan to do, I also grabbed a family Bible study from Knock and Zoom Ministries when I was at the Teach Them Diligently conference a couple of weeks ago. There was so much good stuff. This was one of the reasons why I paused on making this video, is because I wanted to be able to go there and really look at everything that I could and really be open-minded to see if there was something else there that I wanted to add into our studies. And then obviously for my 15-year-old, for my upcoming 11th grader, if there was something specific for him, I wanted to keep that door open, even though I can always change my mind and share with you guys later. The one thing, I only grabbed one thing. I took pictures of tons of things. Some of the books that we'll supplement with next year, either together as a family or just for my 15-year-old, I will share with you guys as the school year gets closer, or even once the school year has started. Because we are always flexible and open to wherever the school year takes us. I believe in having a general plan, continuing to seek the Lord, and just leaning into whatever natural learning just kind of happens and flows. So the only thing I did grab is the My Brother's Keeper Family Bible Study. And I love Not Consumed Ministries Bible studies because there is a different book for each member of the family, including the parent, and they just revised their units to include like the littlest learners. So the 13 and up is the one that my 15-year-old will use, and I chose My Brother's Keeper because I feel like we still have a little bit of work to do in loving each other well and being patient and being kind and all of those things. I feel like in general, I'm very blessed with the way my children are close to one another and enjoy being together, but there are kind of like those little foxes that I really want to go after this upcoming school year, this upcoming season. So we are going to go ahead and do this as a family. If you want to flip through of this or anything like that, let me know. I will link Not Consumed down below. I do have a link for you guys to shop. They're amazing studies, and I'm really excited to jump into that with my kids. The only other thing that I am pretty sure at this point that I'm doing, unless I am forgetting something, is an economics course for my 15-year-old. Economics is something that we're supposed to cover in New York for high school, and I think it would be helpful anyway. And of course, we will be approaching it from a biblical worldview, and we'll be likely using Economics for Everybody by R.C. Sproul Jr. It looks really wonderful. It does come with a DVD and a study guide, so I would have to find my like external hard drive or external DVD player, I guess, which I had to use in the past for another course that we were taking. But I think I'm going to order it and take a good look at it before I make my final decision. I know there are other economics courses out there, but I seem to kind of like the feel of this one so far. So the only other thing that I did not touch on yet is language arts. Now, for language arts, 2 years ago, I purchased The Good and the Beautiful's High School Level 1. We did not end up using it that year because we were doing so many other things, and language arts was really sufficiently covered. And so I actually used it this year, but because again, we were using a lot of other things that also covered language arts, he is only halfway through the 10 units. So he is actually just getting ready to do unit 5. And I really like this curriculum. Some of the grammar, not a ton, I have chosen to have him skip recently because I don't really care if he goes that deep into grammar. Don't shoot me, grammar police. I was a high school English teacher and a middle school ELA teacher, so it's not like I am just don't want anything to do with grammar, but it is not my favorite, and some of it I feel like is more in-depth than necessary, and even more in-depth than I really feel like he needs to be spending that much time on. I do think it's beneficial, when breaking down the Bible and scripture and all of those things. So the connection between being a pastor and understanding grammar and syntax and sentence structure and all of those things is not lost on me. However, I also see the importance in balance. So I really have been happy with language arts from the good and the beautiful. I think you could even argue that much of it is college level in comparison with someone who taught high school English. So I do not feel weird about him still doing high school level 1 in 11th grade at all. I have not decided if we'll go on to high school level 2 or we'll use something different, or we'll just be more kind of coming up with our own things as far as covering language arts at that point. Because something that I didn't mention in today's video is things like Nature Study Club and other unit studies like Gather Round, they do cover language arts, and so he still will be getting language arts from those as well. For example, we're doing natural medicine right now from Campfire Curriculums, and he has to do a whole research paper about a topic that he chose in relation to natural medicine. So a lot of unit studies do include those elements. That particular unit from Campfire Curriculums, there is a core connections. They have like an optional core connections supplement that goes deeper into things like language arts and history, which is not necessary in order to do the unit, but I chose to do it just because I felt like it would be a great way to work on those skills and also connect what we were learning with history. I think that covers everything unless I'm forgetting something. Let me know if you're doing anything similar with any of your high schoolers next year or your family in general. Let me know if you have any questions. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, comment down below. I would love to get to know you guys. If you're not already subscribed, I would love if you would stick around and subscribe. I share all things homeschool, motherhood, curriculum, all the things. I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos, and until next time, stay rooted.